Welcome to the second episode of the Hardware Store Challenge Series, where each week or so, I draw a different weapon from a hat and attempt to build that weapon for under $20 using only parts from a hardware store. This week, I'm building a Sheng Biao.
Get over here!
As with any project I start, if I don't know much about it, I do some research. Pretty much the only thing that I actually did know about this weapon is that it was used by one of my all-time favorite Mortal Kombat characters, Scorpion. So, I looked up a few different versions of the blade, and I found one I really liked. From this image, it looked like there are 3 main parts, and I already have some ideas for what I could use from the store. The first thing that caught my eye is this enormous blade. Unlike the last video, where I made a tomahawk blade from mild steel, I'd like to try and give my boy Scorpion here a better name and beef the blade up a little bit. Now, I'm going to need something long and hard. So I'm going to try this 10-inch brick trowel. The next thing that's blatantly obvious is the chain. I just need to know how long to make it so I can find a good price. Now, I did some digging and found that for my size, the chain should be around 10 feet long. I have a link in the description if you'd like to find out your sizing. The last thing I think I'll need is some sort of handle, and for that, I got this shovel. I have another project idea in mind for this, so this will serve as a dual purpose, but for this build, I'm just going to cut a small piece off and use that for the handle. 2 other things I got was some epoxy to hold the handle in place and maybe the blade, and this eye bolt with a welded ring through it so I can have something to hook the chain to. The total for the build ended up being around $29, and that's, like I said, because of the chain. The chain costed about $8. So without the chain, the build would be around $21. Still $1 over my budget, but with all the materials that I got, I don't think that's half bad. Let's get started. Draw out a nice design that looks pretty cool. Next, cut out a rough shape with an angle grinder. Guaranteed forever. Yeah. Alright, now I'm going to try to do the bevels. Alright, the sun's going down, and I'm gonna go back inside and try to work on this tomorrow, because it must be like 10 degrees outside, no joke. Like, look at this. That's my breath. Alright, I'm back. It is now about 30 degrees outside, and I'm a little bit more dressed up for the weather. I think I'm gonna start doing the bevels, and I found out that I actually have a hand belt sander. Got the bevels in. Tip kind of heated up there. I'm not gonna be surprised if that breaks off. I guess we'll find out. Seems to work okay. This isn't meant for anything heavy duty, just, you know, stabbing through people's heads and stuff. Just finished with the buffing of the bevels, and that looks pretty sweet. Once I get the black paint on there, that thing's gonna look awesome. Now I'm gonna make the handle out of the end of this shovel here. I want the handle to be just as long as my hand. So I'm gonna make it, I could make it 4 inches, but that might be a little tight, so I'm gonna go 5. Now that I got the handle made, I need to make some sort of tang to go inside of the handle. And what I'm going to do is overlap the blade a little bit. So I'm going to have 3 inches going into the handle, and probably countersink the blade a little bit using 1/4 inch bolts. These are pretty long, but this is just what I had laying around. So probably have to cut those off later, iron them flat. Somehow get this in between there straight. And oh, that's not a bad idea. I'll just clamp it and then, yep, drive it in there, set it up where I want it, and then drill through this. This stuff is pretty hard. I think I just toasted my drill bit. Alright, we got that in. I'm gonna bring the belt sander back over and try to put a very large bevel on the brackets that hold it. Got the bevels done, and yes, I know the holes I drilled are not straight. Alright, so I got the tang kind of cut out, try to drill out a hole to put that in, and then recess this top part of back a little bit so the blade will actually sit inside of the handle like this past here. Alright, quick update. Sanded the coating off the end of the shovel, and then I dug out the center with a drill bit for the tang, and I also hit the sides with a drill bit so the edges of the blade can go in there too. Now I'm gonna drill a hole on the bottom for the hook to go into. Alright, just about done. Gotta put the finish on. Alright, so I'm done with the build. A few things to catch up on that I did. Well, first of all, here it is. As you can tell, I had to put 2 rivets through here to hold it in place. Right now, it's really sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Kind of doubled as like an anchor. This tang goes all the way to about here, but this eye bolt probably goes a little bit past that. So what I did was drill the hole for the eye bolt through it. So as I tighten the eye bolt, it pushes against the tang and locks these rivets in place as well. If you guys like to see the test video, that should be coming out in a few days. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss that. Otherwise, thanks for watching.